My name is Mark Ebdrup. I'm the operations leader here at C. Marshall Ford, otherwise known as general manager, and I'm here with my good buddy Troy. And so Troy, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I moved to the island about 14 years ago.
Okay.
My wife and I moved out of Edmonton in order to get away from the hustle, the bustle, and want to raise our kids in a town where we're not really concerned about their safety. And so we headed west and landed in Nanaimo, and no regrets since then.
Okay. And so how long have you been in the car business?
Been in the car business about 6 years now.
Yep.
Before that, it was mostly restaurant management, which was great. But the hours didn't really conform to a great home life. Being at the restaurant till 1, 2 in the morning wasn't really cutting it anymore, and looked to make a switch. Sat down with Peter at the dealership, and you know what? Spent 5, 10, 15 minutes talking to him, and by the time it was all said and done, I was a happy Ford employee. Haven't looked back.
So it took 15 minutes to sell you on the idea of working in the car business.
15 minutes. So many times we drive through my wife and I'd be car shopping, and we'd drive through the car dealerships, and we'd look out and we'd see the salespeople, and they'd be chasing us down. We think, what the hell? There's got, like these, what are they doing? Like, give me a minute to breathe. And so I made a commitment to myself that when I started this job, I wasn't going to be your typical hard-nosed, force things on you kind of guy, and kind of give you the room to breathe and make you feel comfortable. And you know what? I'm pleased to say that for the last 6 years, I've been, the number 2 guy in the dealership, and I've done better for myself than I ever imagined. So.
That's great. Yeah. And so what would you say would be your biggest attribute to make you successful and happy in the car business?
I think just what I just mentioned on is the fact that, I know there's several different competitors around us, and you've got to be, I guess you have to be aggressive to a point, but at the same time, when people are making a $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, even $100,000 decision, sometimes they need that night to sit back and breathe and kind of absorb it. And I think the fact that I put myself in their position and I allowed myself to understand what they're going through, it kind of forces the people to realize that, sometimes the soft approach works, and sometimes, they might not, there might be another car that might edges out the vehicle they're looking at with me, but I like to think when they sit with me and they talk with me, I'm selling myself, and they're realizing that, hey, this guy's a real person, I like this guy, and they're going to choose me over the hard-nosed guy down the street who maybe tries to force things on them that they don't really appreciate.
And it sounds to me like you not only treat people like actual people, but it also sounds like you build a pretty good relationship with your customers. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, in the car business in a town of 80,000 people, I firmly believe that there's no way that you're going to make it unless you cultivate these relationships. I'd say 4 or 5 vehicles that are sold through myself per month are repeat clients.
Yeah.
And without that repeat turnover, I mean, there's only a certain amount of people that are driving cars in Nanaimo, and with 15 different choices of where to go, if I don't make myself stand out, and the thing is, I've got to point out is the fact that I'm being genuine. I actually do care. I know a lot of people say it, but I think where the rubber meets the road is when you're sitting across the desk from somebody and they look into your eyes and they see that, they're not just a paycheck. I honestly wouldn't sell them a vehicle that I don't believe in.
And I think that makes all the difference in the world. When you can truly say that I care about people and I treat people like people, and even your comment about, I put myself in their shoes. I think that speaks volumes about who you are as a person, but also who you are as a salesperson.
Absolutely. I think gone are the days of, the days of the internet are here. The customer can shop for 10 hours before even coming in to see me. So they a lot of times come in knowing a whole lot more than I do. So really, in a lot of times, I'm handing them the keys, opening the door, and just talking. One of my old leaders said, you know, for the first 10-15 minutes, maybe you just talk about life, talk about them, talk about you. You know, the car becomes secondary, as I said. I mean, they've spent 10 hours researching the car already. Now I believe that they're looking for a person who deserves their business. And so it's kind of like a job interview.
For sure, absolutely. Right? I agree with that. And so dealing with the public, I mean, you deal with people all day, every day. What's your favorite part of dealing with the public?
Well, in all honesty, a lot of my clientele in the past have been, you know, they've never bought a brand new car before, or even new to them, a pre-owned car. And, you know, a lot of my clientele are younger folks or young families. And without sounding really cheesy, it's when you're handing them the keys, putting the plates on, and you see them trying to fight back a smile because they're so thrilled with what has just transpired. And the fact that when they're driving away, they're feeling confident they made A, the right decision, but B, they were treated with respect. So once again, without sounding, you know, like a script, seeing the smile on their face, hands down is
for sure. And that's actually a really special moment. And I think we as salespeople, we kind of, you know, we get into this mode where we sell a lot of cars, but that moment I think always brings us back to kind of the why of what we do.
Yeah,
and I know that's one of my favorite parts too.
You know, and I've worked for big corporations before where I know that my number is, you know, Troy Harder, number 4571. But at the dealership here, and I tell it to every new employee that comes in, because we sit down and we do their, you know, do their pre-interview kind of orientation to the dealership. At the dealership, you're not a number, you're a person, and because of that, it makes me want to succeed for the people above me, because I'm treated like a human being, and I'm treated with the respect that I'm giving the same respect to the client, and I think that's an important kind of an evolution.
And so, you know, being at the dealership, there's a lot of talk of family. Mm-hmm. That term comes up a lot.
Yep.
Would you tend to agree with that, do you think?
Hands down. I lost my father 2 years ago. I came in to tie up you know, help a client out before I left for the funeral, and you know, I was nicely ushered out because it's time to be with the family. You know what? I know you're given a certain amount of bereavement days when somebody passes. That's kind of thrown out of the window with Anne-Marie. She makes sure that you're able to go spend time with the family. And if you're coming into work on your days off, it better be for just a quick in and out, because that's your family time. And it's very, very important. Family is number one.
Yeah, and I've worked at many places in the past where they have maybe a slogan or they have something that they say as a terminology, but the truth is, in my opinion, at this dealership here, everybody that works here actually means it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And like I said, I mean, I would have been here for 6 years, and I can tell you, in 6 years, I've come to work 3 days where I thought, I just don't want to be here, and that wasn't because of anything here; it was just because of personal issues. But I mean, 6 years, 3 times in 6 years. Who can say that?
That speaks volumes about not only about you, but the dealership and the family that we have here. So,
absolutely.
One last question.
Yeah.
If you could pick any vehicle on the Ford lot for your very own, what would you take?
Well, I have been able to. Being here as long as I have, I do get to drive a beautiful 2018 Ford F-150 Lariat package. Why? I mean, 53 years of #1 sales in Canada. There's my little plug. But at the end of the day, you get in it, you feel good, you look good, and I mean, absolutely everything you want is there. It's just an amazing vehicle.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time, Troy.
No problem.
Appreciate it.